Today on Studio One, aluminum cans are common containers for many drinks. One man is more interested in the can than what's inside. Also, a good night's sleep is important. In our Spotlight story, we'll tell you how sleepless nights can lead to major health problems. And many parents are already looking for the perfect toy to put under the Christmas tree. We'll tell you why listening to the toy is just as important.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hi everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Monty Cashel.
And I'm Carrie Verstahl.
We have many interesting stories to share with you today, and one of the things we're going to talk about is paintball.
Oh yes, I know. I have a good friend that's into paintball.
Really?
Yes.
It's a sport, kind of a fun activity,
Yep.
I guess people do, where they have these markers. They're like guns that shoot paint at each other.
Yep, it's fun.
So we'll talk to this person who knows all about it. We can talk about safety and how to get into it and the equipment, all that good stuff. So that's coming up on the show. Also coming up in the next 30 minutes, if you have a few extra pounds to lose, the answer is dieting and exercise. For those who are extremely overweight, that may not be enough. We'll tell you what many are going through to shed those pounds.
Also, most people link the word ulcer with a body part such as the stomach. Coming up, we'll talk to someone who will tell us about ulcers in uncommon places.
But first, here's today's news with Phil Zubrod.
Thanks, Monty and Carrie. U.S. and coalition forces are clearing out the final remnants of insurgency in Fallujah. 2 discoveries were uncovered during raids in the southeast area of the city. Military forces found a bomb-making facility that included a vehicle with a Texas registration sticker. Bags of explosives surrounded the vehicle, which was being converted into a car bomb. Another raid uncovered a safe house used by militants loyal to al-Qaeda and wanted terrorist Abu Musab al-Zarqawi. 2 letters to and from al-Zarqawi were found inside the house. U.S. and Iraqi authorities have said they believe al-Zarqawi's network was based in Fallujah before the offensive. Security in Iraq was also the focus of Thursday's meeting in London between British Prime Minister Tony Blair and French President Jacques Chirac. Both stressed that they hope for a peaceful and stable Iraq. Before his visit to London, Chirac said that U.S. and British invasion of Iraq made the world a more dangerous place. A sandwich with all the fixings has become a tall order for some restaurants to fill. Florida hurricanes, California floods, and insects in Mexico have destroyed much of the tomato crop. The result is a nationwide shortage and skyrocketing prices. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, tomato prices have tripled in the past 2 months. Many restaurants and fast food chains are scrambling to find alternatives to dishes requiring tomatoes. While some managers are temporarily eliminating tomatoes from their menus, others are hoping for better prices.
In our business, you cannot raise prices on a menu item on one of them because one item goes up. So we'll go through it.
Several tomato growers expect prices to drop once the next growing season begins. A new heart drug is creating some controversy in the medical field. The drug Bidil is the first drug targeted to a specific ethnic group. It is being used to treat heart failure in black patients. But on its way to approval, it has run into a lot of opposition. Critics say there is no evidence the drug will work better for one race than another, and that claim is a marketing scheme. The drug's creator says it will work for other patients of other races, but early studies have shown that black patients respond better. Bidil combines a high blood pressure medication with a drug used to relax blood vessels. As the shopping season approaches, there are more new toys on the shelves. The different types of toys are endless. Many kids are drawn to toys by a little noise, but that can sometimes be a problem.
With so many toys to choose from, it's hard to pick just one. There's just about everything from dogs that wag their tails to bears that do aerobics. But one thing many toys have in common is that they make noise.
I have a lot of noisy toys at home already, so, I mean, as long as they play in the room and don't bring them downstairs where I'm at, that's fine, but they are annoying.
But annoyance is not the only problem parents should be concerned about when shopping for toys. The World Health Organization says many toys are too loud and could damage a child's hearing. They say the sound levels on a toy should be around 75 decibels.
It's me, Joe.
But most toy manufacturers are not following this recommendation.
Most toys, 85% of them, are above that level. And just some examples, like a cap gun is about 150 decibels. That's louder than a jet engine taking off.
Many of the toy companies say there's no evidence that loud toys can harm a child's hearing, but Brandt believes that repeated exposure to loud noises can affect the ear over time. She says parents should be careful when buying toys for their kids.
If it sounds loud to the parent, it's going to be probably too loud for the kids. If the parent has to raise their voice over the sound, over the toy, it's too loud.
So if parents want to make the right choice this Christmas, they may need to take a good listen to make a sound decision. With photographer Björn Merck, I'm Jamie Mernick reporting for Studio One News.
The impact of noise depends on its volume, duration, and distance from the ear. Experts say it is nearly impossible to link any one sound to hearing loss, but parents should be aware of the risk. And that's the news for now. Monty and Carrie?
Thanks, Phil. It's amazing to think that we have to start wondering what we're going to buy for presents during the holidays already.
Right, I usually think snow on the ground this time, but it's warm.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
That's right. Up in the Midwest here, it's been beautiful.
Very nice. Why don't we go to Aaron Swanson over at the Regional Weather Information Center, and you can tell us what it's like outside.
Well, thanks, Monty and Kiri. Yeah, we have been seeing some very beautiful temperatures across much of the upper Midwest, which is just perfect for this time of the year. As we take a look at our almanac conditions, we typically, at least in North Dakota, should be right around 30 degrees for the most part, and we are way above that for the most part. Last week, we saw some temperatures into the 60s across the region, and our overnight lows, we haven't even come close to touching those except for 1 or 2 nights out of the whole last few months, so not too bad. And that's the same holds true actually for Minneapolis as well. They're way well above average, and also into Winnipeg. So we take a look. We do have something to talk about here. We got some frost that is really common in the winter. You'll see it actually across many areas. But typically in the summertime, there's up into Canada, and it's called permafrost. And what it does is it'll sit up there, and it's where it really never thaws out. It's constantly frozen, and really you don't have any trees. Hardly anything can grow in that condition. As we step through here by a few months here, every month it will step on a head, and pretty much will just spread on down. And as we get in towards like December and January, you see frost is possible almost anywhere in the entire U.S. And really it has been seen in every time. It's not saying that every year you'll probably get frost, but it is possible. So when we take a look, it isn't really correlated with your snowfall totals, though. You'll see snowfall average, at least the farthest south it'll go, is right across pretty much the middle section of the U.S. But it has happened where Florida or Texas, and actually parts of Texas already this year, have seen some snowfall, but usually it doesn't stay. So as we take a step back here, and then pretty much the frost will just subside as it heads on in towards your summer months, and really it goes right back up into Canada and just stays as permafrost as well. So as we take a look where it's going to be cold or warm, we're going to see some warm conditions, probably no frost to worry about out to the northwest, and cold across the middle parts of the country. Otherwise, nowhere really average. We're going to see dry conditions to the north and wet conditions to the south. At what temperature? So here's our Studio and Weather IQ question. At what temperature does conventional motor oil freeze at? And we have a range there for you from 0 to negative 50 degrees. So Monty Carey will have the answer to that question, and also a story about how to maintain your vehicle in the winter.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Speaking of frost, I've had to break out the ice scraper and scrape my windows a few times this year.
That's right. And when you think of that quiz question, when does oil freeze? He had minus 50. The scary thing is that it's been minus 70. I've seen it with the wind chill sometimes. So
Not good to think
even
about.
colder. Well, let's go now to Greg Ankers for the sports.
Thanks, Monty and Carrie. There are 2 NBA teams that are surprisingly heading in opposite directions. The New Jersey Nets, usually on top in the East, have struggled. In the West, however, the Seattle Sonics are turning heads with their 7-1 start. Seattle looked to continue its early dominance Wednesday night in the Meadowlands. We'll pick it up in the second. Nets down by 11. Richard Jefferson slicing, dicing, and he's cooking up a bucket there, cutting the Sonics' lead down to just 9. They would cut it to 2 in the second half. Enter Rashard Lewis for the Sonics. With the awkward lob, he still gets it to go, putting the Sonics up by 4 in that point, and that difference would remain the same until the 4th when Lewis comes calling again. Seattle looking for a 3. There's number 7. He is the man. Knocks down the triple. The Sonics win 79-68 and are now winners of 8 straight. Possible NBA Finals preview, Minnesota and Detroit. Detroit up 2 in the third. Chauncey Billups nearly loses the ball, collects himself, and banks it in from three-point land, putting Detroit up by 5. Later in the third, though, Kevin Garnett, making former NBA Defensive Player of the Year Ben Wallace look silly. He would finish with 24 points and 13 rebounds. But in the fourth, the Pistons just too much hustle. Richard Hamilton with the drive, the spin, and he connects as Detroit goes on to win 93-85. They are now above 500 with a record of 4-3. Giving up a passion you have for 6 months could seem impossible. This misfortune, however, is a reality every year for golfers in cooler climates. But once the clubs are polished and put away for the winter, there is a group of workers ready to begin their job. Each fall, this golf course in Grand Forks, North Dakota invests many hours to prepare their greens for Mother Nature during the harsh winter months. And while many golfers wait for the spring thaw, the maintenance personnel are hard at work.
It looks like it's going to turn nasty on us. We go out and we put down winter applications, spray for snow mold and a few of the diseases we have over the winter. And the last thing we do is we cover greens with evergreen covers.
Maintenance duties at this course also include draining some of the lake to protect irrigation pipes from freezing, as well as removing all benches, ball washers, and tee markers. And now it's time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question. Which NFL team has appeared in 7 consecutive playoffs but never made the Super Bowl over that stretch? We'll tell you who has had some postseason woes when we have more sports later on. Monty and Carrie?
Thanks, Greg. It was a children's story, Broadway show, and a Disney musical. It's being updated yet again. We'll tell you about a movie that puts a new spin on the Peter Pan tale.
Also, most people have scraped their knee, had a cut, or even have had blisters. Next, someone will tell us when skin wounds may be more serious than you think.
Need to plan an entire conference? Want to provide your employees with professional training and development? The Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota provides quality programs and services for career enhancement. Whether you want to attend educator workshops or need a certificate for your profession, the Division of Continuing Education can help you achieve success. Contact the Division of Continuing Education today and let us meet your professional needs.
When you graduate from college, what will you be able to offer an employer?
Well, I'm a really good people person.
I really love working with people.
I'm very, very motivated.
I'm a great people person.
I am really motivated.
Offer an employer something more. At the University of North Dakota Career Services Center, we can help you get the competitive edge you need. Stop in or check us out, UND Career Services, empowering students to realize their dreams.
Did I mention I'm great with people?
The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
Become a leader in healthcare with a graduate degree from the University of North Dakota. The Graduate School at UND offers degree programs and advanced practice certificate programs in the allied health professions and nursing. Our faculty give you the individual attention you need to help you attain your career goals. Distance programs for practicing professionals allow you to pursue graduate studies without interrupting your career. Contact the UND Graduate School today.
The School of Engineering and Mines at UND has a long history of preparing students for successful careers. Through small classes and faculty involvement, students have unique opportunities to gain hands-on experience. Here, students launch a weather balloon to test a remote imaging device destined for Earth orbit. Students can also become involved in wind energy and fuel cell projects, design, build, and race a Formula One car, or even develop a camera that will generate agricultural images from the International Space Station. Find out for yourself how you can get involved at UND School of Engineering and Mines.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
Ulcers often affect the stomach and other internal organs. Skin ulcers are another type of ulcer that can start as a small injury and lead to a serious medical problem. Here to tell us more about skin ulcers is nurse practitioner Dan Rustvang. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for asking me.
The first question I have for you is, what is a skin ulcer?
Skin ulcer is basically an area where a part of the skin is broken down and is open, causing some drainage and putting a patient at risk for infection.
So is there a difference between an ulcer and just a regular wound like a blister?
A blister is often a shearing force from usually shoes that don't fit correctly or walking.
and it's just a thin layer of skin that's created a little fluid behind it. The ulcer is from sustained pressure over time that can break down deeper tissues in the skin and be a real problem.
What types of things can irritate a skin ulcer?
Continued pressure. When an ulcer occurs, one has to look at how did it get there. Sustained pressure either from ill-fitting shoes or laying on a part of your body that hasn't been that has broken down. If we don't interrupt that, that'll continue to be a problem.
Well, this just sounds like something that would be extremely painful. How painful is it for someone?
It can be very painful, particularly in areas of the ankle and lower feet. If somebody has an ulcer in that area, usually those can be painful. But oftentimes, ulcers that occur in a patient who has diabetes, they might have reduced sensation down there, so they don't notice the pain as much with their ulcer.
What types of testing methods are out there to test for this?
With diabetes, if a person has diabetes, regular health checks with their physician or nurse practitioner, they should have their feet inspected, and there's a special fish line test that they can do to check for decreased sensation. That protective sensation is very important in preventing ulcers or minimizing pressure areas.
So once you've actually established the fact that someone has an ulcer, what types of treatment are there?
Once you've identified the cause, there's methods that generally include offload, which means protective devices. There's special shoe inserts. There's a special field called orthotics that helps people have pressure relief and more comfortable fitting shoes, and to try and prevent what's caused the problem, and then to have a dressing there that allows for the wound to heal.
Well, what does a person's age or health play a factor?
Yes. As we get older, our skin isn't as viable or isn't as pliable, and it can be subject to breakdown. And then as people develop other problems, health problems, nutritionally, a good nutrition is important for healthy skin. And sometimes medicines such as steroids can sometimes thin out skin that puts you at risk.
Well, how long does it take to develop a skin ulcer?
It can take as little as 12 hours if a person is laying unconscious and their heel or elbow or some part of their body is in sustained pressure. That can break down underlying tissues and create an ulcer. But sometimes it can take over many weeks, months, depending on how a part of the body is being offloaded and protected.
So what are some of the most common areas affected?
Most common areas are usually the feet, particularly the heels, the bottom surface of the foot, the legs, and then of course patients who are immobile because of paralysis or stroke, portions of the posterior butt and the back can be affected.
You mentioned special shoes and things like that. How are those shoes any different than, say, a normal pair of shoes? Or?
Well, the normal shoes don't always have the protection, and an orthotic device can be developed to accommodate the person's specific foot so that it protects them, so when they are walking a lot or if they're walking a lot, that they have some protection against a breakdown.
So are there any preventative measures a person could take to prevent this from even happening?
Inspection of your feet. Patients that have diabetes and that don't have diabetes, inspection of your feet regularly when you shower and when you finish up an activity like your marathon or something. I mean, the thing is that take a look at your feet and have regular care. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Yes. Great information. Coming up, many people play a sport which has them hiding from the enemy and aiming at human targets. Their main weapon is a biodegradable paint. We'll talk to a person who loves to paintball. Also, the EPA says our nation could rebuild the entire commercial air fleet every 3 months with the aluminum we throw away. We'll spend a day in the life of someone who sees a lot of that recyclable waste.
Earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering degree program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through online lectures and condensed on-campus laboratories.
It's convenient, it's flexible, and it's a quality education.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Need to plan an entire conference? Want to provide your employees with professional training and development? The Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota provides quality programs and services for career enhancement. Whether you want to attend educator workshops or need a certificate for your profession, the Division of Continuing Education can help you achieve success. Contact the Division of Continuing Education today and let us meet your professional needs.
Finding Neverland is a film about the creator of Peter Pan. It tells the story of a man inspired by events in his own life that gave birth to Neverland. Johnny Depp plays the role of a playwright who is bored with the same old themes and has run out of his inspiration. A meeting with the recently widowed mother of 4 boys gives new sparks to the playwright's imagination. His friendship with the family is not received well by the boys' grandmother and his own wife. Despite the obstacles, the writer engages the boys in creating play worlds.
The work itself is just, it's really truly a work of pure genius. I mean, it's absolutely a masterpiece.
The film was shot on location in England and often at authentic locations in London. The costume designers had to face the challenge of creating a turn-of-the-century look and the imaginary world of Neverland. Now it's time to take a look at the events happening in your area. The EPA says more than 97% of all beer and soft drink cans are made from aluminum. Most of these cans hit the trash or make their way back to a recycling plant. Today we'll spend a day in the life of one man working to save the environment one can at a time.
Pop, juice, and beer. To us, this sticky mess of metal may look like a hassle to sift through. If you ask Jack Oatman, he might tell you otherwise.
There's no stress. Customers are really nice, and you're not selling anything, you're buying.
He works at a recycling center where he sorts through piles of cans like this every day. Since a price per pound is offered in exchange for empty cans, people will sometimes come up with creative ways of adding weight.
In the wintertime, people, for extra money, they'll put water in their cans and leave them outside. Well, we live in an area to where it freezes.
Once in a while, Jack will come across things that are as much a surprise to him as they are to his customers.
We've had a complete outfit from Victoria's Secret in a bag.
Many jobs have their ups and downs. Jack has found that his is no different.
I have been delegated to clean out the drain over here in the floor. We call it the black hole.
The average number of cans Jack sees daily would stretch across 2 football fields. Along the way, he's picked up a few souvenirs.
This one, rock and roll, that's got the story of Chuck Berry on the back of it.
Some people collect cans for a little extra cash. Others bring them in as a donation to local charities. Jack says he believes that saving the environment is its own reward. For Studio One, I'm Virginia Sticka.
Jack says the busiest time of the year for recycling is over Earth Day, when the price per pound of cans is highest. Earth Day is April 22nd. Coming up, rest is something everyone needs to face the day. In our Spotlight segment, we'll talk to a man who is fighting with his own body for a good night's sleep. That story plus news, sports, and weather in the next half hour of Studio One.
George Bull and his partners found value in farina, the whitest part of wheat, and created cream of wheat. Patrick Haggerty founded Texas Instruments and helped it become one of the nation's high-tech giants. Raymond Rood is responsible for the modern diving board. His diving boards have been used in every Olympic competition since 1960. Chris Moen and Marlene Schott launched their food company through the UND Entrepreneurship Program. Will yours be next?
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering degree program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through online lectures and condensed on-campus laboratories.
It's convenient, it's flexible, and it's a quality education.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Welcome back to Studio One.
Thanks for joining us today.
Well, Thanksgiving is just around the corner.
It is, yeah.
And
Big Turkey Day.
Right, and a lot of people have different traditions, I guess, eating or eating too much, like myself, is something. But we actually went out and asked people what are they thankful for. So we'll have that coming up later in the show.
Excellent. We can look forward to that.
Yes.
Also coming up in the next 30 minutes on Studio One, millions of Americans struggle with their weight, but for some, those extra pounds are life-threatening. We'll introduce you to a woman who had to take a drastic step for the sake of her health.
Also, it's almost impossible to stay alert when you're dead tired. In our Spotlight segment, we'll talk to a man who needed help to find the sleep he desperately needed.
And many parents have safety concerns when letting their child participate in paintballing. Coming up, we'll talk to someone who is working to inform others about the safety of the sport. But first, here's today's news with Phil Zubrod.
Thanks, Monty and Carrie. The Clinton Presidential Library opened Thursday in Little Rock, Arkansas. Former Presidents Jimmy Carter and George Bush Sr., along with President George Bush, all gathered to take part in the ceremony and view the library. The library is made of glass and steel and extends across the Arkansas River. It houses documents, photographs, and artifacts describing the Clinton presidency. A full-scale model of the Oval Office is also included. Over 10,000 benefactors donated $165 million to build the library. The U.S. Senate is looking into whether the Food and Drug Administration ignored safety concerns about Vioxx. While the FDA did pay for reviews of the pain medication, it also ignored some risks. Merck & Company, the makers of Vioxx, found that the extended use of the drug posed a risk of cardiac arrest. The drug was pulled on September 30th after nearly 30,000 people died between 1998 and 2003 while taking the drug. Many food chains are now offering healthy food choices for their younger customers. These changes come as studies continue to show an increase in childhood obesity. Many fast food restaurants are feeling pressure to provide healthier menu choices for kids. Companies like Wendy's have added alternatives like mandarin oranges and milk to replace fries and soft drinks. The companies are hoping to provide parents and their kids with healthier choices. One dietitian says that it's a step in the right direction, but feels kids are still not getting the nutrients they need.
These kinds of things are good options for parents to try to get to children closer to those recommendations. The harder part is to get those children to be accepting those.
Goodwin says the main responsibility falls on the parents because kids need to be eating a healthy diet at home as well. Many people are not able to own a cat because of their allergies, but a California biotechnology company plans to change that. It's creating a genetically engineered kitten that lacks a protein that many people are allergic to. The company plans to charge $3,500 for the protein-free cats and hopes to market the animals worldwide. They expect the birth of the first kittens by early 2007 and are already accepting deposits from interested customers. Obesity is a common health problem among Americans. Many people turn to different diet programs to lose weight, but for others, dieting just isn't enough.
For most people, doing the dishes seems like a simple task. For Jan Ziegler, bending over to reach the silverware was nearly impossible 3 years ago. Jan weighed 326 pounds.
My blood pressure was going up. It was getting hard to walk. I've been on every major diet there was, and it seemed like I'd lose 30 pounds and gain 60. You know, it just was this terrible yo-yo.
With her health declining, Jan looked for a different option to help her lose weight.
I want to be able to get down on the floor and play with my grandchildren and not need a crane to get up.
Jan turned to gastric bypass surgery, and now 120 pounds later, she feels like a different person.
I'd never be able to be on my feet 8 hours a day. You can't imagine how great you will feel.
After the surgery, Jan's smaller stomach only lets her eat small amounts.
You just want to eat because it's going to make you feel better. You can't do it.
More than 60,000 people have gastric bypass surgery each year. This makes it one of the most common surgeries in the entire U.S. But even though thousands choose the procedure, doctors say that nearly 3% of patients experience serious complications during and after the surgery.
People can get blood clots in their legs or in their pelvis that actually can go up into their heart and into their lungs and be a fatal event.
But for Jan, the risk of surgery was minor compared to the threat her weight posed on her health.
I think I was at a point in my life that I knew that if I didn't get it done, the risk was just as bad.
Although Jan admits she could drop a few more pounds, losing all that weight has given her a chance for a new life. With photographer Bjorn Mjörk, I'm Megan Floggen reporting for Studio One News.
Doctors say gastric bypass surgery is meant only for people whose weight is life-threatening. This includes people at least 100 pounds overweight and those with severe type 2 diabetes. And that's the news for now. Monty and Carrie?
Thanks, Phil. Well, we were promised earlier that we'd get a chance to learn about how to get our vehicles ready for the winter months.
Right, perfect time of the year. You know, it's starting to get cold out. You never know. Why don't we go to Aaron Swanson over at the Regional Weather Information Center?
Well, thanks, Monty and Carrie. We will get to that in just a second, but first we have to talk about some flooding that has been occurring across Texas. Parts of Texas have seen severe thunderstorm moving across the state, and there was even one report of a tornado. It was in LaPorte, Texas, and it was a pretty minor tornado. It only had a few broken windows and some minor damage across the area, but no injuries or no deaths were reported from that. There was some pretty dramatic video, though, with a lady who got caught in a flash flood. She was trying to cross the road, and the water just rose too fast and she got stuck and she had to be rescued out of there. She's actually waiting on the top of her car, as you can see there. It's just unbelievable video, but she actually made it okay and it was no injuries at all. So you can kind of see where the main affected area was. It was pretty much the entire state of Texas, and then it spread into Louisiana as well, where they saw about 5 to 7 inches of rain in many of those areas. So while Texas is recovering from a lot of their floods and all the damage that they've seen, many people prepare for winter in the upper Midwest. While they often focus on keeping themselves warm, they might want to think about their vehicles as well.
To avoid getting stranded in the chilly winter and a costly breakdown, consider switching your car's grade of oil. It could be your best defense against cold startups.
A lot of people run heavy oil in the winter, and they should run a little bit lighter oil. Makes everything flow a lot easier in the cold weather because the oil thickens up as it gets cold.
For winter driving, 5W30 grade oil is the most recommended. Check your user's manual for the lightweight oil best for your car. Synthetic oil is available as an option.
In the synthetic oil, all the molecule sizes are the same, so it's a lot more free-flowing. With the conventional, they're not quite the same size, so it doesn't flow as smoothly.
A thick oil with a low battery will decrease fuel economy and make your car's engine parts run slow. The use of a good, lightweight, proper grade of oil will result in a safer drive this winter. I'm Rebecca Herrera reporting for Studio One.
Kit in a vehicle is also a good idea. Blankets and a shovel and a cell phone can also come in handy. Well, here's a look again at your Studio One Weather IQ question. At what temperature does conventional motor oil freeze in the winter? And your answer is C, negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit. And actually up in this area where it's actually colder, we typically use a synthetic oil, which it freezes right around negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius as well. So.
All right, thanks, Aaron. It has to get pretty cold, I guess, for...
Yeah, put your car in your garage if you can. It won't get, you won't get sticky oil. All right, let's go again to sports with Greg Ankers.
Thanks, Monty and Carrie. When most kids think about their future, the path is generally paved by loans or family support. But one young man hopes his path will be covered with green felt.
This is Lucky's Green Room, and today is Thursday, which means that tonight is Youth League night in Grand Forks, North Dakota. And while some players are just beginning to learn, one local player has already been playing for more than 10 years.
Well, the first time I ever played pool, my mom used to own the bar in Thompson. And before it was an adult bar, kids used to be able to come in there, and I used to just play by myself. And my dad got me into it, and he taught me a lot. And then my dad bought a table at our house, and I've probably just been playing ever since.
This is 17-year-old Caleb Schumacher, and he has won a lot more than just respect at Lucky's. Caleb is one of the region's best young pool players, and for years now he has been playing in and winning tournaments all across the country, many of them offering hefty rewards for victory.
I didn't get into tournaments until I was probably 11, and since then I've probably won about $20,000, and I've saved most of it, so.
Caleb serves as a role model here at Lucky's. His drive for the game rubs off on some of the younger players.
Just see his love of the game makes you want to play.
Caleb doesn't know if he wants to go to college, but one thing he does know for sure is that someday he hopes to become a professional.
I'm probably going to play pool on the East Coast because that's where there's a lot of pool out there, big tournaments, and I've already played in some big ones out there and I've done well.
Whatever Caleb decides to do, one thing is certain. He will play pool for the rest of his life. This has been James Haley reporting for Studio One.
Caleb says that he played for up to 10 hours a day when he started. He says that there are no shortcuts and the only way to get to his level is through practice. And now the answer to this week's Studio One Sports Trivia question. Which NFL team appeared in 7 consecutive playoffs but never made it to the Super Bowl? And the answer there is C, the Oilers franchise, who made it to the playoffs from every year from 1987 to 1993 without making it to the big game. And that's the sports. Monty and Carrie?
Thanks, Greg. When it comes to grief, some prefer to deal with it alone, while others find comfort speaking with friends. Later, we'll spend the night in a place where people share feelings with strangers.
Also, people who fight to stay awake at work are rarely productive. In our Spotlight segment, we'll tell you about one man who needed to help gain back his edge at work.
Wall Street has come to the prairie through the A. Kirk Lannerman Investment Center at the University of North Dakota.
This state-of-the-art facility in the College of Business and Public Administration provides hands-on experience in the world of modern finance. Students learn how financial markets react with lightning quickness to world events. They use cutting-edge technology and real-time data from more than 200 financial markets around the world. The Lanterman Investment Center provides the tools to make a career out of an education.
There are many things to be found at the University of North Dakota School of Law. You will find a place with small class settings, an affordable place that offers student interaction with both the state and federal court systems. You will find a school that has averaged over 90% placement for its graduates the past 5 years. But most importantly, you will find the skills and experience you'll need throughout your legal career. Find your future at the University of North Dakota School of Law.
This can happen.
Excuse me, can I get a ride?
What?
My car broke down. Can I get a ride?
No, I can't help you.
Look, it's just a ride.
No, step back.
Get in the car!
No!
Women can defend themselves. To learn more about Impact U or to enroll in a class, call the UND Women's Center.
Advance your career with a graduate business degree from the University of North Dakota. The graduate school at UND offers a variety of master's degrees that can help you stand out in the competitive business world. Our programs accommodate full-time students as well as working professionals. Our state-of-the-art facilities, dedicated faculty, and entrepreneurial training position graduates for careers as business leaders. Make your move towards a business leadership position. Contact the UND Graduate School today.
You're watching Studio One, news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
Dealing with loss is something every person must face. While everyone deals with grief differently, one group of people came together to face loss in a new way.
On cool fall evenings, the corner coffee shop can look like a perfect destination. It's open mic night and Teresa Romero is trying something new.
It's very nervous. And I just this is the first time I did a reading.
Keeping calm can be a challenge, especially with tonight's topic.
I really miss you. We could have grown old together.
Tonight's poems are about loss.
Though my grandmother and my mother have survived cancer as well, it's just kind of like one of those things you don't talk about.
Teresa says it was hard for her family to acknowledge that something might be seriously wrong.
This year I had surgery. And it was odd because it was like family did not call to say, how did it go? What did you find out?
Teresa's surgery was for her own battle with uterine cancer, but even organizers of the event had stories to share.
Not only my sister, but my mother also died at age 43 from breast cancer. And my sister was 45, and my father also died from cancer.
For some, sharing their poetry is difficult.
I usually get very emotional when I'm reading. I try not to, but I mean, that's what the poem is. It's pure emotion if you think about it. You have become one more ghost living in my head.
Teresa says the opportunity to speak openly about cancer was healing.
I finally was able to actually speak something of how I was feeling.
Perhaps in listening, the audience also addressed painful memories of their own. With photographer Darren Lean, this is Emily Tobin reporting for Studio One.
Poetry topics varied from suicide to stillbirth, loss of pets to dealing with cancer. Readers included everyone from high school students to published poets. Well, Thanksgiving is traditionally a time when friends and family come together. It's a holiday filled with turkey, stuffing, and pumpkin pie. Since this is a season for thanks, we wanted your thoughts on what you are thankful for.
I'm thankful for my family and living in the country that I live in, the freedoms that we have.
For my family and friends.
My cat, Mason, and my fish named Bubbles.
My husband's not in the military anymore, and that he's home safe with the family and having a family gathering.
For all the friends I've met up at college, they've all been really great people. Helped good start out the year.
This little guy here, and all the other things that we have available.
USA.
Many people look forward to a good night's sleep. Sleep experts say most adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night for good health. For some, sleep can be more stressful than refreshing.
Sleep. Everyone does it. Whether a night owl or an early riser, everyone needs to catch some Z's. For Riley Pilipenko, sleep was more of a struggle than pleasure. He felt like he could never get enough of it. He would go through his days feeling worn out.
I felt all day long I just feel like an old played out horse, just tired all the time. I get up in the morning, I just still feel tired.
Riley fought through his days. He would even doze off during his coffee and lunch breaks at work.
Many a time I come home at noon hour and I maybe only have a sandwich or two. All of a sudden, before I knew it, I brought my head back up. I might have been asleep for 3, 4, 5 minutes. I'd had my mouth full of food yet.
Riley knew something was wrong. His breathing was bothering him at night. When he began experiencing chest pains, Riley decided he needed to see a doctor. Riley's doctor recommended him to this sleep lab in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Riley had a sleep study done and was diagnosed with sleep apnea, a sleep disorder as common as adult asthma.
Sleep apnea is when you actually stop breathing for a brief period of time during sleep. They're tired, crabby, they don't want to do anything. It just takes all the energy they can just to get up and move around.
Riley's abnormal breathing patterns were preventing him from getting necessary sleep. These symptoms were resulting in his chronic daytime sleepiness. Little did Riley realize his condition was life-threatening.
You would have heart failure after a while because your heart would be lacking oxygen after some time, and yeah, you just never get that rest. Your body needs sleep.
The sleep lab treated Riley with a CPAP. The CPAP provides Riley with airflow through a mask to open his airway while he sleeps. Riley wears his CPAP every night and says it has completely changed his life.
I've got ambition. It's just like my head just clear.
Before we had a problem with this, kind of slow, but that's kind of changed now. He's speeded up and actually he's more attentive.
Riley believes the treatment potentially saved his life.
I would say that if I would have stayed without the CPAP, I would have shortened my life way up.
Falling fast asleep comes naturally for most tired people. For Riley Pilipenko, it was the one thing that was holding him back. Now Riley can get a good night's sleep and live his life to the fullest. I am Lindsay Turner reporting for Studio One.
Even though around 18 million Americans suffer from sleep apnea, most remain undiagnosed and untreated. Many people in the U.S. have been hiding from the enemy and trying not to get paint on their clothes at the same time. Our next guest will tell us more about the sport of paintballing.
No matter what your schedule, no matter when you work, no matter what job you have now, this is your opportunity to accomplish your goals. Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota can work around your busy schedule. Bachelor and master's degrees are earned through convenient, flexible, and high-quality classes. Complete degrees are available online through correspondence study and on weekends and evenings. Earn a degree on your terms with Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota.
The College of Business and Public Administration at the University of North Dakota is proud to announce the Page Family Marketing Center. A gift from alumni Greg and Cindy Page, this center promises real-world experiences as students begin careers in marketing. The center includes a specially designed conference room for focus group research. An adjacent lab offers real-time access to software and data for marketing decisions. The Page Family Marketing Center, your next step in marketing.
The School of Engineering and Mines at UND has a long history of preparing students for successful careers. Through small classes and faculty involvement, students have unique opportunities to gain hands-on experience. Here, students launch a weather balloon to test a remote imaging device destined for Earth orbit. Students can also become involved in wind energy and fuel cell projects, design, build, and race a Formula One car, or even develop a camera that will generate agricultural images from the International Space Station. Find out for yourself how you can get involved at UND School of Engineering and Mines.
The UND College of Business and Public Administration is reaching out to rural America. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is working to connect North Dakota veterans with important information. North Dakota veterans can use the internet to access employment and business resources, health and benefits they deserve, housing information, and much more. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is funded in part by the North Dakota Congressional Delegation. North Dakota veterans and their families can get connected by visiting go.ndgrow.com.
Paintball is a popular sport in the U.S. Clubs and official teams are popping up around the nation as kids and adults alike save money for the latest equipment. University of North Dakota Paintball Club President Mike Delaney is here to tell us more about this sport. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Mike, you've got a lot of equipment laid out on the table here. Give us a sense of what happens during a paintball session.
Well, you get a bunch of your buddies or teammates or whoever you're playing with onto the field. Horn blows and equal number of people on either side go rushing at each other, shooting as much paint as they can to mark as many people as they can. You try and get the flag, get it to the other base, and win the game.
Okay, so you mentioned marking somebody. What does that mean?
Marking is basically just you hit them with a paintball. Once that paintball hits and breaks, they're marked, and they're no longer participating in that game.
Okay, well, how did you get into this and start to know so much about this sport?
Basically, 16 years old, $200 in my pocket, went out to Fleet Farm, picked up a marker, and just kept moving forward, moving forward, moving forward.
Okay. A lot of experience with it. You're in a club. How often do you play a week?
We try and play twice a month, but sometimes that doesn't work. You know, we are college kids, and paint isn't free.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at some of the equipment you brought today. Obviously, this thing here, it looks like a big gun. It's heavy. You know, how heavy are these?
You don't know. This is actually, in 2004, one of the lightest markers that would be on a tournament level. This right here is, just the marker alone is retail price, like $1,700.
Okay, and this top part here, what is that?
This right here is the hopper. It holds all the paint. This particular hopper actually forces the paintballs into the marker, which will make you have the ability to shoot higher rates of fire, more balls per second.
Okay, so you're shooting these paintballs at people, and obviously safety is a concern. What's the main safety equipment? I see some goggles over here.
These goggles are the biggest safety equipment, most important to us. As you can see, we have lenses to cover your eyes, ear protection, cover your ears, and then face protection, cover the rest of your face. As far as I'm concerned, this is the most important thing to carry out on a field.
Okay, what's a common injury that would occur out in a paintball session?
Mostly just common injuries that you get playing with in the woods, running. You twist an ankle. Every once in a while you'll get a welt. It's paintballs, when you get hit, it ends up feeling like a rat tail. You know, somebody twirls up a towel and snaps it at you.
Okay.
They sting sometimes a lot, sometimes not so much.
All right. Now, this gun again, you know, you said it stings a little bit when it hurts.
Yep.
How fast does it come out the gun?
In an outdoor field, regulation states in North America that they're not faster than 300 feet per second. That's totally adjustable by the person. Any regulatory person will say that's tops. It's often suggested slower. Indoor fields normally keep it down at 250, 260 feet per second. I have a friend, he plays front man. That means he's way up front, close to people. He keeps his at 190 feet per second.
Okay, so
he doesn't need to go too far.
There is a varying range with it.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you have a big red tank sitting beside you. How does that work into all of this?
This right here is just a regular scuba tank. What we do with this is we fill it with air, and we take that air and fill up our nitro tanks. It's called nitro. It's actually nitrogen. Normally it's N2. It's just a high pressure air tank. This right here is rated to 4,500 pounds per square inch.
So how long can you play on a tank like that then?
A full tank like this, I could probably play for a good, say, 2,000, 3,000 rounds.
Oh, wow.
So it's,
okay.
It works pretty well.
Now, earlier in the break when I was talking to you, I had you pick up this marker, you called it, and yep. I wanted to see how fast you could pull the trigger, because each time you pull the trigger, it spits out one paintball. It's not loaded, there's no air with it, but show us how fast you can go with your fingers.
Like you said, there's no air connected. if there was, I'd make sure there's a barrel plug on here, but as it is, it's just...
Okay. Now, what you showed me is there's a little computer on the side. It told you how many shots per second you were shooting, and what's the fastest you've done?
The fastest I've done is 17 shots in a second, and that's where you're just walking the trigger out and trying your hardest. Professional level, say they can get up to 28. I've never seen their computer screen that says they've been shooting 28, but
wow,
it's pretty quick.
And how much did this particular marker cost?
This marker was all said and done. It cost me about $1,100. Brand new, it would have been about $2,000.
Okay.
You can get this marker at a place like Shields for about $200.
Okay.
That's because these are all electronic markers here.
Sure. And they can go down to as low as how much?
You know, I've seen them all the way down to $20.
Okay. So you can get in at an entry level quite easily.
Absolutely. If you're buying a $20 marker, I'd make sure to invest more in your mask.
Sure.
You know, it's a mask goggles should be costing at least $30. I wouldn't.
So you go buy a marker, a mask. What else do you have to do before you can start for those who want to start out?
Marker, mask, some paint, some CO2. Ready to rock?
And you're good to go. Okay. Well, thanks a lot for coming on the show today, Mike. It was great seeing all this neat equipment, and probably there's some people out there wanting to start paintball.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be back right after this.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
The Graduate School at the University of North Dakota is the premier graduate school of the Northern Great Plains, offering advanced degrees in more than 50 fields of study. Our innovative and flexible programs give full-time students, as well as working professionals, the opportunity to study under the guidance of nationally and internationally recognized faculty. Advance your career with a master's or doctoral degree from the Graduate School at the University of North Dakota.
When you graduate from college, what will you be able to offer an employer?
Well, I love working with people.
I'm a people person.
I consider myself to be highly motivated.
I'm a real self-starter.
Offer an employer something more. At the University of North Dakota Career Services Center, we can help you get the competitive edge you need. Stop in or check us out, UND Career Services, empowering students to realize their dreams.
I can offer you much more than just good people skills.
You're hired! No matter what your schedule, no matter when you work, no matter what job you have now, this is your opportunity to accomplish your goals. Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota can work around your busy schedule. Bachelor and master's degrees are earned through convenient, flexible, and high-quality classes. Complete degrees are available online through correspondence study and on weekends and evenings. Earn a degree on your terms with Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota.
This can happen.
Excuse me, can I get a ride?
What?
My car broke down. Can I get a ride?
No, I can't help you.
Look, it's just a ride.
No, step back.
Get in the car!
No!
Women can defend themselves. To learn more about Impact U or to enroll in a class, call the UND Women's Center.
Tune in next week on Studio One. Many people like to keep fish as pets or even have gotten them as gifts. We're going to have an expert tell us how to keep those finny friends alive. Plus, we'll have other news and entertainment stories for you.
We're going to leave you now with pictures of a soothing musical performance. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.